When a man is spiritually chosen, he begins to perceive life through a lens that most people cannot comprehend. The ordinary routines, the casual conversations, the endless social rituals that once felt comfortable now appear shallow, distracting, or even draining. He notices that the majority of people are entangled in illusions, chasing approval, clinging to attachments, and reacting to circumstances without awareness. This clarity sets him apart. It is not an arrogance or superiority, but a natural consequence of awakening. His consciousness vibrates at a different frequency, and those who have not awakened cannot match it. The energy of ordinary life feels heavy, suffocating, or even confusing to him. This is the first reason why a spiritually chosen man walks alone. His awareness creates a natural separation. In solitude, he is free to explore the depths of his consciousness without compromise. He no longer seeks validation from others because he has begun to understand that true worth comes from alignment with the soul, not from external recognition. He observes life deeply, noticing patterns, truths, and subtleties that remain invisible to most. Conversations that once brought joy now seem filled with superficiality. Social interactions often leave him exhausted, not because of a dislike for people, but because the energy he carries is too vast, too subtle to be contained within ordinary connections. His awareness requires silence, reflection, and space to process the depth of reality he now perceives. This solitude is not loneliness, it is alignment with his spiritual path. The chosen man recognizes that companionship cannot be forced. Ordinary relationships, friendships, or partnerships often come with expectations, judgments, and limitations that interfere with spiritual growth. To maintain the integrity of his awakening, he must honor the space that allows him to fully inhabit his consciousness. He moves through life observing, learning, and experiencing without clinging to the desire for approval or acceptance. His path is one of inner refinement, and for that, solitude becomes a necessary companion. Walking alone also protects the energy of the spiritually chosen man. Awareness is a delicate force, and sharing it indiscriminately with those unprepared can lead to misunderstanding, conflict, or even depletion of energy. He knows that the unawakened mind cannot comprehend the depth of his perception. To expose the raw truth of his awareness too freely would create resistance, distraction, or attachment that could derail his spiritual journey. Instead, he carries his insight silently, allowing his presence, actions, and subtle energy to convey what words cannot. Moreover, solitude allows him to cultivate discernment and clarity. In the absence of constant external influence, he learns to listen deeply to his own inner guidance, to the subtle flow of life, and to the intelligence of the universe. He becomes attuned to the rhythms of existence, noticing the patterns that guide his decisions and the signals that align him with his purpose. In this quiet, he observes without judgment, responds with awareness rather than reaction, and deepens his connection with the spiritual currents that have chosen him. Thus, the first reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is because his awakening naturally separates him from the ordinary, allows him to protect and refine his energy, and creates the space necessary for deep alignment with his spiritual path. This solitude is not a punishment, it is a sacred condition of his journey, allowing him to grow, to perceive, and to prepare for the higher purpose that calls him forward. In the silence of walking alone, he finds clarity, strength, and the first true taste of freedom that awakening brings. The second reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that he carries a responsibility few can understand. Awakening is not only about perception, it is about alignment with a purpose that transcends ordinary life. The energy he holds, the clarity he perceives, and the insight he embodies are powerful forces that cannot be shared indiscriminately. Most people are not prepared to bear the weight of spiritual truth, and those who attempt to engage him without readiness often disrupt his balance. To maintain the integrity of his path, he must create distance from distractions, attachments, and misunderstandings. Solitude becomes not only a refuge, but a necessary condition for sustaining the energy and focus required to fulfill his destiny. This responsibility is invisible yet immense. The spiritually chosen man feels the currents of life that guide his actions, the subtle signs from the universe, and the responsibilities that flow from his alignment with spirit. He recognizes that every decision, every interaction, and every thought has consequences beyond the ordinary. To live fully in alignment with this guidance, he must preserve his energy, his clarity, and his focus. This cannot be achieved in constant social entanglement or through reliance on others for validation. Compromise dilutes purpose. Interaction without awareness scatters energy. For this reason, he walks alone, not from pride, not from fear, but from necessity. Moreover, the spiritually chosen man understands the fragility of energy. The awakened mind and heart are sensitive to external influences, emotions, opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. Ordinary attachments, even well-meaning relationships, can drain focus and distort awareness. Solitude allows him to create a sacred space where insight can deepen, intuition can sharpen, and purpose can crystallize. This space is not emptiness, it is a fertile ground where the soul can align fully with its higher mission. In this quiet, he is not isolated from life, he is fully immersed in it, yet in a way that honors his energy and the responsibilities he carries. Walking alone also cultivates discernment. The spiritually chosen man learns to see who aligns with his journey and who does not. He recognizes that not every companion can accompany him through the depth of awakening. Relationships, partnerships, and friendships must meet a level of understanding and resonance that is rare in the ordinary world. Those who cannot match his awareness may inadvertently slow his progress, divert his energy, or create conflict. Therefore, he chooses solitude, understanding that alignment with purpose is more vital than comfort, companionship, or approval. Finally, solitude allows him to act from authenticity rather than obligation. He can make decisions based on intuition, wisdom, and alignment with spirit rather than societal expectation or the need to please others. This freedom to act in integrity is crucial to the fulfillment of his mission. Every step he takes is deliberate, conscious, and guided by the unseen currents that have chosen him. By walking alone, he protects not only his own energy, but also the sanctity of the path laid before him, ensuring that he can fulfill his destiny without compromise. Thus, the second reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that his awakening brings responsibility, a responsibility to honor his energy, to preserve clarity, and to align with purpose. Solitude is not loneliness, it is preparation, protection, and empowerment. It is the sacred space that allows him to carry his spiritual mission with focus, authenticity, and unwavering alignment with the path he has been chosen to walk. The third reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that solitude becomes the crucible in which his spirit is refined. Walking alone is not simply about avoiding distractions or protecting energy. It is an essential process of inner transformation. In the silence of solitude, he confronts himself fully, his fears, his attachments, his ego, and the patterns of thought that once dictated his life. This confrontation is uncomfortable, even painful at times, yet it is necessary. The spiritually chosen man understands that no one else can do this inner work for him. The path of awakening is intensely personal, and the lessons he must learn can only be experienced firsthand. Solitude is the teacher that no companion can replace. Through walking alone, he learns patience, humility, and equanimity. Life will test him repeatedly, through loss, through misunderstanding, through challenges that seem insurmountable. In solitude, he is forced to face these experiences directly, without deflection or avoidance. Ordinary distractions and companionship might allow him to escape temporarily, but the spiritually chosen man cannot hide from the truth of his own consciousness. Each trial becomes a mirror, reflecting back the areas where growth is necessary. In this quiet reflection, he cultivates resilience, self-mastery, and clarity. Every challenge becomes a stepping stone toward deeper understanding, and every moment of silence offers insight that cannot be found in the noise of ordinary life. Solitude also nurtures discernment. The spiritually chosen man must learn to distinguish between energies, intentions, and influences. Not every person, not every relationship, and not every opportunity is meant to accompany him on his path. Walking alone allows him to observe the world without distraction, to understand the subtleties of intention and alignment. He learns to trust his intuition, to follow the guidance of spirit, and to act with conscious awareness. This discernment is not arrogance, it is a necessary safeguard for the integrity of his journey. Those who walk with him too early, without readiness or alignment, might disrupt the flow of his purpose, and the spiritually chosen man understands that timing is everything. Furthermore, solitude fosters a deep intimacy with self and spirit. Away from the constant noise and expectations of the world, he can explore the depths of his consciousness, commune with the intelligence that guides him, and connect with the eternal rhythm of life. This intimacy is sacred. It strengthens his connection to his mission, clarifies his purpose, and cultivates a sense of peace that is unshakable. He learns that true strength is quiet, that true wisdom is subtle, and that presence itself is more powerful than words, actions, or accomplishments. Ultimately, the third reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that solitude is the crucible in which he becomes whole. It is in this space, free from compromise and distraction, that he refines his awareness, deepens his understanding, and prepares for the responsibilities that lie ahead. Walking alone is not a punishment or a curse. It is a sacred process of transformation. It is through this deliberate solitude that he emerges as a man of clarity, strength, and spiritual authority, ready to walk the path that has been chosen for him, fully aligned with his destiny and unshakable in his purpose. The fourth reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that he is preparing for a destiny that few can comprehend. His path is not ordinary, it is sacred, and it requires a level of freedom, focus, and alignment that cannot be achieved amidst the distractions and attachments of the world. To walk alone is not a punishment. It is a privilege and a necessary condition for fulfilling the purpose for which he has been chosen. The solitude he embraces is not emptiness, but a fertile ground where awareness deepens, insight unfolds, and his spirit aligns fully with the currents of life that have chosen him. In this quiet, he cultivates the strength, clarity, and wisdom needed to navigate the unique responsibilities that await him. This preparation is both inward and outward. Inwardly, he refines his consciousness, sheds illusions, and dissolves the attachments that would otherwise weigh him down. Every interaction, every experience, and every moment of silence becomes a teacher. He learns to act from intuition, not reaction, from presence, not habit, from alignment, not desire. By walking alone, he avoids the compromises and distractions that can dilute purpose. Outwardly, he observes the world, learning how to move through it with subtlety and discernment. He sees the patterns of life, the intentions of others, and the opportunities and obstacles that lie ahead. In solitude, he becomes both observer and participant, fully aware of the currents that will guide his journey. The spiritually chosen man also walks alone because his energy must remain intact. The awareness and insight he carries are potent, and they require careful stewardship. Ordinary attachments, relationships, or influences can disrupt this energy, creating distraction, confusion, or misalignment. By maintaining distance, he preserves the integrity of his consciousness, ensuring that when the time comes to act or to fulfill his purpose, his energy is unfragmented and fully available. Solitude allows him to cultivate focus, clarity, and resilience, qualities essential for fulfilling a path that is larger than the ordinary human experience. Furthermore, solitude teaches him patience and trust. The spiritually chosen man understands that destiny unfolds in its own timing. Cannot rush the process, nor can he rely on the validation or encouragement of others to confirm his path. Walking alone strengthens his ability to trust the unseen currents of life, to move in alignment with guidance from the universe, and to act when the moment is right. Every step he takes in solitude is deliberate, conscious, and aligned with the purpose that has been laid before him. Ultimately, the fourth reason a spiritually chosen man walks alone is that solitude is preparation, empowerment, and protection all at once. It allows him to refine his spirit, align with his mission, and cultivate the awareness necessary to fulfill the destiny for which he was chosen. Solitude is not a punishment, nor is it a void. It is the sacred space where a man becomes whole, where wisdom is embodied, and where purpose is realized. By walking alone, he honors the spirit that chose him, preserves the integrity of his journey, and emerges ready to fulfill his calling with clarity, strength, and unwavering presence. In this sacred aloneness, he becomes everything he was meant to be, fully prepared to walk his path with consciousness, courage, and divine alignment.